Hey everyone, in this video we're going to start where we left off in this bottom little corner after we made that little arc, and we're going to go up on that side and complete our perimeter around this shape, and then we're going to add our radius with a fillet tool, and then we're going to add some circles. Alright, so the next thing is, what we're doing is getting back into Fusion. I didn't complete my sketch, so I don't have to right click to edit my sketch right now. I can just start where I was, and what I'm going to start by doing is using the line tool to click back here in the bottom and slide up. One thing I forgot to do was look to see what my dimension is. So give me 1 second. This is 1 3/4 minus 1/8. So it is overall going to be, well, what's that end up being? Ends up being 5/8. All right. So 1 5/8. So now in there, if I go back to my Fusion, I'm going to select and stride up 1 inch space 5/8, 1 5/8, and hit enter. Now, this last one is going to complete my process. So the letter L, line tool, select here, and select our last point that we made in our first video. And now we've created the outside perimeter of our shape. One thing people get bothered by are these dimensions. Important parts about these dimensions are we can turn them off so this sheets your piece better. With that being said, it's simply turned off and turned back on that piece. If you don't see them, once again, you can select the check mark to turn them back on. They can get kind of distracting. If you don't like where they are, you can also use the selection tool to move those things in and out and put them where you want them to be. All right? With that being said, we're going to get ready to do our next process. Now, the next thing that we're doing is we're going to add that little radius. The way we're going to do it is by using this fillet tool. Just quickly referring to my sheet, we need a 1/4 inch radius over here in the corner. And this is how it's done. We come in and we select the modify tool, fillet. If it's not showing up there, remember underneath your modify, you should find fillet in your tool list. After you select it, the way it works is by selecting an edge and then selecting another edge, and then it asks you how big you want that radius to be. So I'm going to start by selecting my top edge, and then I'm going to select my second edge, which is the left-hand side. And then notice it's already starting by making a, well, random number here of 45/64. I want to be 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to type in 1/4, and I'm going to hit enter. Now, with that being said, after that, we should have a radius of 1/4. Once again, we can move those things out by selecting them and then moving that number so you can see it a little clearer. And once again, now we are all done with the outside shape, our perimeter. Now we're going to start moving to the inside before we start clicking finish our sketch. We have a few more things to do. And the inside is going to be our first two things we're going to hit as our circles. So coming inside, going to my blueprint just to check, our first circle is going to be 5/16. Our second circle is going to be 1 inch and 1/16. We're going to start by making the 5/16 circle first. Now, to make a circle, all we have to do is go into Fusion. We're going to create, and we click on the circle, and all we want to do is just drop it somewhere inside. And I'm going to be honest, click, move it up. This is going to be a 5/16 inch radius. One thing that's handy is whenever making circles, make sure your endpoints are either in the 12 o'clock position, which is straight up, a 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or a 6 o'clock. Just so that way it puts the endpoints. You want to think about circles making ends, but there's 24 points all around this shape. And that puts it in the spots where usually you'd find tangent or things that you want to move to that or line up with that. And then I want to hit enter. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put this in the right spot using the dimension tool. The dimension tool is going to help us put this in the correct location. And here it says that this tool, or this space, should be 2.5 inches up. Well, I don't know what the other one is. I'm going to actually open my other one and just get a quick reference because I forgot to pull that dimension. So we know we have to go 2.5 inches up first. So coming in here, I'm going to come into my dimension tool. Remember, that's the letter D. And once I select the midpoint of my circle, I'm also going to select another endpoint. And then I'm going to move to the left, or I'm going to move straight down, and I'm going to get two different dimensions. We're going to start with the one going up and down, and we're going to drop that in and type in 2 space 1//2, 2.5 inches. And that puts it up into the part where it needs to be. The next dimension, which is missing from that plan, is once again selecting the letter D. So we're in the dimension tool. From there, we want to select the midpoint and once again an endpoint. In this one, we're going to slide either straight down or straight up. I'm going to go up with this one, drop it. And this measurement should be ½ an inch. 1/2. Enter. Now that puts that circle in the correct location. Now the next thing is we have one more circle to make. Just quickly referring to my sheet. This circle is 1 1/16 inch diameter. So going back to my Fusion, I go into the circle mode. C is the circle tool, by the way, for the ones like shortcuts. I click and I move, type in, make sure I'm going straight up or straight to the right or left or down. I type in 1 space 1/16 or 1 1/16, hit enter. And then the next thing I need to do is put it in the correct location with my dimension tool. So getting into my dimension tool, quickly referring to my sheet to make sure I'm in the right spots. I'm 1 1/4 up and I'm 3 inches over. Going back to Fusion, dimensioning, space, by clicking that middle, clicking another endpoint, sliding to the right, dropping this one, right? This one should be 1 1/4. So typing in 1 space 1/4, enter. And then the second one, hitting the dimension tool again, selecting the midpoint, selecting that same endpoint, this time sliding straight up, is going to be 3 inches. Hit enter. Now, after we've done that, once again, we can move these dimensions around. If things are overlapping, if things are confusing, we can move certain things inside, outside, whatever it may be to help make things make more sense and just be clear for you. Once again, certain dimensions can be, dimensions in general can be removed by the parts so you can see it clear by just deselecting the dimensions over here in the sketch palette. Every once in a while you push that over, so you got to open that up to find that so you can do that. And with that being said, this is where I'm going to finish my sketch for the day. Hope everything's working for you. We got a few things to add in all those rectangles, and then we'll be done with this part. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.